At this stage of the project, what I want to do is go ahead and organize my layers, then work a little bit on the overall color and tone. So first, let's click in our topmost layer. Shift-click in the underline layer, then press Command or Control-G, and let's name this group Face-Tone, because these are the adjustments that we made to the face, some pretty subtle adjustments there. Next, color and tone. Well, there are many different ways that we can modify or enhance color and tone. One technique that I want to try is to use color balance. So here, we'll click on our adjustment layer icon, then we'll choose color balance. Now with color balance, we can make some real dramatic changes. We can swing these sliders one way or another to come up with some distinct looks. Yet many times it looks like the color is sitting on top of the image. It's not embedded into the overall tonal structure of the photo. So what you can do to have a bit of fun is to try on some blending modes. For example, let's experiment with the blending mode of soft light. Now, once we do that, all of a sudden, this image comes to life in a completely different way. Now, we can continually modify these sliders, but what we're seeing here is we have this different kind of a look here with this photograph. We have some nice vibrant tones, nice contrast, and we're mapping contrast and color together. Here's our before and then our after. Now, one of the problems whenever we use soft light that surfaces is that we lose shadow detail. One way to correct that is to create a curves adjustment. So here we'll click on the adjustment layer icon, choose curves, and I'm just going to bring up my blacks here, bringing up the black points. We have more detail in this area. Next, what I want to do is just mask this into a few areas. So we'll go to our mask panel, click on invert to invert that, grab our brush. We'll paint with something less than 100% opacity. Left bracket key makes that brush a little bit smaller, and we want to make it a little bit smaller so that we can just get into some of those shadow areas. And I'm going to lower my opacity even a little bit more just so I can paint this in incrementally. And I'm just looking to try to bring out a little bit more detail there and some of the deepest, darkest shadows there because those won't reproduce very well. So I'm just kind of tracking along those edges there, looking for any problem area. Bring my opacity up for this right here. We're going to need some more tone there. Nice thing about this is we can still have a bit of that contrast while having this to be reproducible a little bit more effectively. Next, in our mask panel, just feather those brush strokes to diffuse them. And here you can see our before and after. We still have the effect, the look, the feel, yet we have a little bit more detail that's coming out in some of these darker tones. Of course, we can also go to our color balance layer and lower the opacity so it's not quite so intense. Yet with this image, I like it up pretty high there. And we'll go ahead and modify these till we have just a nice mix of this contrast and also color that we can actually print. All right, well, that's looking pretty good. Let's zoom out so we can evaluate our before and after. Here it is before and then after. Let's organize these layers. We'll click in the topmost layer. Hold down the Shift key, then click in the bottommost layer and press Command-G for group. We'll go ahead and name this color and tone. Now, as I look at the image, I realize there's a little bit more that I want to do with this photograph, in particular with the background. Let's explore how we can modify the background in the next movie.